वागीशाद्या सुमनसः सर्वार्थानामुपक्रमे यं नत्वा कृतकृत्याः स्युः नमामि गजाननम् सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् योगिनं विश्वनाथाख्यम् अस्मत्तातस्वरूपिणम् आत्मलाभात् परं लाभं वक्तारं न कदाचन गीतार्थग्रन्थकर्तारं श्रीगुरुं प्रणमाम्यहम् योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मे वाचं धृतिं बुद्धिं प्रचोदयात् ओम नमः सभाभ्यः सभापतिभ्यश्च ओ नमः. Friends, this is Sanatana Dharma 22nd session. We are going to see the third part of the three-part series Mother Goddess. So Mother Goddess part 3 of 3. In this talk we are going to take the three major pieces of literature in propitiation of the goddess: Lalita Sahasranama, Saundarya Lahari and Lalita Trishati. It is a tall order to be able to talk about all these three things in 1 hour, just like this. But I am going to be only touching them. I will give you a tiny sample of what I think I understand of these three pieces of literature, religious literature. Lalita Sahasranama, first of all, is not only grand poetry but also a practical philosophy. It is mellifluous, rich in imagery, full of sweet-sounding words, chains of words, beautiful combination of compound words strung as a garland of flowers. There are no repetitions, no use of connectives like api, cha, etc. to fill up the meter. Just a very few examples. Unmesha nimishotpanna vipanna bhuvanavali. Unmesha nimishotpanna vipanna bhuvanavali. Half a line of a shloka, but this is one word as far as the archana, as far as the name is concerned. So when you do the archana, we say Om Unmesha nimishotpanna vipanna bhuvanavalyai namaha. So that is one name. And what does it mean? Unmesha nimishotpanna. Winking the eyes, closing and opening. And closing and opening, within this time, the whole world has changed. The universe sprouts up when she opens her eyes, and universe is destroyed if she closes them. Therefore she does not close them. She never winks, so to say. Unmesha nimisha utpanna vipanna bhuvanavalihi. The entire world structure is dependent on the Unmesha and Nimisha. In fact, Saundarya Lahari also, I will be going back and forth between Lalita Sahasranama, Saundarya Lahari and Lalita Trishati, because there are parallels. Here is a shloka from Saundarya Lahari. Nimeshom meshabhyam pralayam udayam yati jagati tavetyahu santo dharanitar rajanyatane tudinmeshat jatam jagadidam ashesham pralayataham paritratum shanke parihrita nimeshas tavadrishagam. The Acharya Shankara is the author of Saundarya Lahari. Is this portion. The general belief in the world is that the eyes of the divinities do not wink but are always open. So here the Acharya uses this general belief to give a beautiful reason for her not winking, not opening, not closing her eyes. Nimeshon meshabhyam pralayam udayam yati jagati. When she opens her eyes, the world is on. The world sprouts. When she closes her eyes, there is pralaya. The world is gone. Universe is gone. This is what people say. Tavetyahu santo dharanitara rajanyatanaye. O majestic queen, this is what people say about you. Therefore, all this world, all this universe has come out with the opening of your eyes, and you want to protect it. So you are not closing the eyes. Paritratum shanke parihrita nimeshastavadrashagam. Therefore you are not closing your eyes at all. Therefore your eyes are always open to prevent the universe that has sprung at the opening of your eyes from going into dissolution. Your eyes do not wink. That is the poetic fancy of Acharya of this general belief. So that was one name I said, Unmesha Nimishotpanna Bhuvan Vipanna Bhuvanavalihi. Look at this. Maheshwara Mahakalpa Mahatandava Sakshini. I am taking the long words, that is the connect combinations of compound words strung as a garland of flowers. Maheshwara Mahakalpa, the Ishwara, the Lord, Shiva. Mahakalpa, the grand pralaya, dissolution. At that time, the Tandava dance is done by the Lord, pralaya dance. Who is the Sakshi for this? She is the only Sakshi, because she is the all-powerful Absolute, who just remains and who causes all this. Maheshwara Mahakalpa Mahatandava Sakshini. You are the silent witness to the Tandava dance of Shiva at the time of dissolution. Another. Janma Mrityujara Tapta Jana Vishranti Dayini. Beautiful combination of words, but full of Vedantic meaning, full of philosophical meaning. Janma Mrityujara Tapta Jana Vishranti Dayini. Janma Mrityujara. Janma is birth, Mrityu is death, Jara is old age. These are the three experiences that man goes through. Nobody escapes this. Janma, Mrityu, Jara. By these one is consumed. Tapta. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Tapta, Jana Vishranti Dayini. For the people who are consumed by these three great experiences, inescapable experiences of life, she gives peace. Vishranti Dayini. How does she give peace? She gives you moksha. She gives you release. Vishranti, then you no more janma, no more mrityu, no more jara. Janma mrityu jara tapta jana vishranti dayini. Birth, death and old age. For us who are consumed by these three inescapable experiences, she gives peace and solace of moksha. By endowing us, how does she give that? By endowing us with the true knowledge of the self. Just one more. Vaktralakshmi Parivaga Chalanmina Bhalochana. Vaktralakshmi Parivaga Chalanmina Bhalochana. Vaktralakshmi, the brilliance of the face. Vaktra, face. Lakshmi, the brilliance of the face. What does it? It is like a flood, a great flood. Parivaga. Vaktralakshmi Parivaga. Look at the flow of thoughts and words. It goes on. 1,000 names are like this. I cannot give you all of that today. Just I will give you 3, 4, 5 like this. Vaktra Lakshmi Parivaga Chalanmina Bhalochanam. It is like a great flood. So when the dalliance of the face runs as a flood of water, there ought to be fish in the flood. Flood means fish should be there. But where are the fishes? The long, long eyes of the goddess or the fishes. Lochana means eyes. So the lochana that resembles a fish generates the word Meena Bhalochana. Meena, fish. In fact, this is an implicit mention of Meenakshi, the famous deity of the Madura temple in Tamil Nadu. Meenakshi's fame, of course, from ancient times has been centered upon the beauty of her eyes. Meena Akshi, like the fish. It is interesting, now, careful, it is interesting to know that this is the only reference, if at all, to Meenakshi in the Lalita Sahasranama. Not only in Lalita Sahasranama, in the whole of Saundarya also this is the only reference. We will come to that. So Vaktra Lakshmi Parivaga Valganmina Chalanmina Balochana. We'll go to another topic about Lalita Sahasranam. Continuous lists of names. It goes on like this. Goes on. Nirnasha Nashamatana, Nirmada Madanashini, Nirmoha Mohanashini. Nirmoha, she doesn't have any moha, therefore she destroys our moha. Nirnasha Mrityamatani, she has no nasha. She is never destroyed, therefore she protects us from destruction. Nirnasha Mrityamatani. Like that, it goes on. Now here is one thing. Logical build-up and coherent treatment of the subject. Shrishtikartri Brahmarupa, Goptri Govinda Rupini, Samharini Rudra Rupa, Thirodhara Karishwari, Sadashivanugragada, Panchakratya Parayanam. The Lord has always, the Lord means absolute. They have 5 functions. Panchakratya Parayanam. She has those 5 functions. What are those 5 functions? Srishti, creation. Sustenance, maintenance of the universe. Destruction, they have to dissolve. There is another thing which you and I don't know. Tirodhana, disappearance. Tirodhana, that is process of absorption. And Anugraha, grace. 5 functions. In the icon of Nataraja, this can be described, but that is a different topic. I will not take it now. We have done it in the Nataraja session. Srishtikartri Brahmarupa. So she is the progenitor of the creation. Srishtikartri. She is the director behind. And who is doing that? Brahma. Srishtikartri Brahmarupa. In the form of Brahma, she is doing the creation. In the form of Vishnu, Goptri Govinda Rupini. In the form of Govinda, she is sustaining the whole world. Samharini Rudra Rupa. In the form of Rudra, she is taking care of the dissolution of the world. Thirodhana Karishwari. In the form of Ishwara. She is doing the Thirodhana, disappearance function. The creation is in the form of Lord Brahma when Rajas is dominant in Prakriti. She is the Prakriti. When Rajas is dominant, it is made up of 3 things. Rajas, Sattva, Tamas. Rajas is dominant, creation. And Sattva is dominant, protector and sustenance in the form of Vishnu. When Tamas is dominant, it is the Rudra work, destroyer. Samharini Rudra Rupa, Thirodhana Karishwari. Thirodhana and Anugraha are the 2 extra functions other than creation, sustenance and destruction. She is Ishwari, concealing everything. This is the process of absorption. Everything in the root source, in the reverse order of the creation. You see, Akashat Vayuhu Vayo Ragnihi Agmera Apaha Abhya Prithivi Prithivya Roshadayena. So that is the Akasha, then Vayu, then Vayu, Apaha, then from that the Bhumi, and from this Voshadaya, like that. So, the reverse order, everything is absorbed in the root source. Thus the universe is absorbed into Brahman. By her Sankalpa, she again brings back the universe in due time, so that the unexhausted vasanas of the jivas, the jivas have all their vasanas, baggage of vasanas, as Shinmayananda would say, luggage. They have a great luggage of vasanas. All those things are there. Even though there is a kalpa, there is a pralaya, everything disappears. These vasanas are latent in Brahman, in the jiva. They appear again by her. This is her function. This is the anugraha function. The unexhausted vasanas as jivas have to exhaust themselves. So in another cycle of creation, so the other cycle starts. So she is always engaged in these 5 functions. Okay? We will come to another idea now. Stotras are of 2 kinds, Laukika and Vaidika. What are Vaidika Stotras? They are in Shri Suktam, Devi Suktam. These are in the Vedas, Rig Veda. These are Vaidika Sutras. They are part of the Vedas. Forget it. Come to Laukika Sutras. These are what we know. Lalita Sahasranama, Saundarya Lahari, Bhajagovindam. Those are Laukika Stotras. A Laukika Stotra, according to Bhaskara Raya, Bhaskara Raya is the authority on the worship of the goddess. So Bhaskara Raya says, a Laukika Stotra has to have 6 components. 6 components. What are the 6 components? Namaskara, Ashirvad, Siddhanta, Parakrama, Mahima, and Prarthana. Mahima and Prarthana. In the Lalita Sahasrama, we can give examples to each one of these. Namaskara. Tripura Trijagadvandya Trimurti Sridasheshwari. Tripura Trijagadvandya Trijagadvandya. All the whole world, 3 words. Do Namaskar. She is respected by the 3 words. Trimurti Sridasheshwari. You can later somewhere. I am giving you only 1 or 2 examples of the Namaskara trait. Panchasankhyopacharini. Somewhere at the end. Panchasankhyopacharini. 5, the count of 5. Upacharini. The upacharas are 5 in number. She is satisfied with that. What are the 5? Chandana, Dhupa, Deepa, Naivedya, and Namaskara. These are the 5 fundamental upacharas which should be in a puja. Right? Pancha Sankhyopacharini. There is an interesting story of Kanchi Mahaswamigal, who advised somebody who came. It's a long story, I am not taking that now. He said, the Ambal is said to have, Pancha is said to be Pancha Sankhyopacharini, therefore go to the temple 5 times, and her wish was fulfilled. This is a different story. Anyway, Pancha Sankhyopacharini. You can just see. Ashirvad. So for Namaskara, there are several other examples, I am not taking it. Shanti Swastimati Kanti Nandini Vigranashini Swastimati. She said, giving you Ashirvad, Swastimati, you will have complete prosperity, Swasti. Siddhanta, Vedanta Siddhanta, final Tattva, the philosophy, the essence of philosophy, the root, final essence, she is giving you. Mithya Jagadadhisthana Muktida Mukti Rupini. Mithya Jagadadhisthana Muktida Mukti Rupini. Mithya Jagadadhisthana is one word. Muktida is another word. Mukti Rupini is another word. Mithya Jagad Adhisthana. Mithya is the something which is neither Sat nor Asat. The Vedanta comes here. Neither Sat nor Asat. Mithya. Jagat. This Jagat is Mithya. It is neither Sat nor Asat. Why neither Sat? Because it is not ever present. Sometime it vanishes. It goes away in the Pralaya time. But still you see it now. So, sometimes it appears, sometimes it disappears. Whenever something appears and disappears, that is Mithya. So Jagat is Mithya, universe is Mithya. Wrongly this is translated as universe is false. Universe is a myth. It's not a myth. It is not a myth. It is comparatively unreal. Compared to what? Compared to the absolute. The absolute is always present. Sat. That is the Sat. There is an Asat which is Vandhyaputra, the son of a barren girl, barren woman. It does not exist. There is nothing there. So that is asat, never exists. Sat always exists. Exists and not exists. Sometimes exists, sometimes not exists. That is mithya. So mithya jagat. And who is the adhara, support? How does the universe, where does it exist? Because the Lord is supporting it. She is supporting it. The goddess. Mithya jagat adhishtana. Muktida, mukti rupini. If you have understood it, you will go to the mukti. She gives you the mukti. In fact, she is in the form of moksha. Mukti rupini. One more example of this Vedanta philosophy, essence of philosophy mixed. Tattvadika, tattvamayi, tattvamartha swarupini. Tattvadika, she transcends all your tattvas, all your principles, all your basic principles. Tattvadika, tattvamayi. She is in the form of these tattvas. Tattvamartha swarupini. One can go on giving meanings to things. There is the commentaries wax eloquent on these things. And I am only giving you, as I told you, tiny examples, just a hint. You have to take this as a jumping board to go further. Parakrama, glories, Mahima, Parakrama and Mahima. Bhandasura Mukta Shastra Pratyastra Varshini. Bhandasura, the great Bhandasura came there. He threw arrows at her. She gave the reply to those arrows. Shastra Pratyastra Varshini. Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Swarupini. She is the Ichha Shakti, she is the Jnana Shakti, she is the Kriya Shakti. She is in the form of all these. Desire, wisdom and action. Ichha Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Swarupini. Prayer, prarthana. So, I told you there are 6 things which are necessary for a Laukya Stotra, as Bhaskar Raya said. So, Namaskara, Ashirvad, Siddhanta, Parakrama, Mahima. Now, prarthana, prayer. Samrajyadayini, she gives you the entire world. Samrajyam, Moksha Samrajyam. Madanashini, Mohanashini, Papanashini, Bhavanashini, Nirbhava, Bhavanashini, Nirbeda, Bedanashini. Dukkahantri, she eradicates all your dukkhas. Sukhaprada, she gives you the happiness. Vanchidartha pradayini, Vanchidartha pradayini. You, whatever desire, she gives it. Avyaja karunamurti, she is, without any reason, she pours compassion. She is so compassionate. Avyaja karunamurti is also in Lalita Sahasranama. So all this is Lalita Sahasranama. Saundara Lahari also has these 6 components. Namaskara, Ashirvada, Siddhanta, Parakrama, Mahima, Prarthana. All the 6 components. Shloka number 85. Saundara Lahari. Namo Vakam Brumaha Nayana Ramani Ayapadayo. Namaskara to the feet. It's a beautiful shloka. I am not quoting the entire shloka. I think it is number 85. Yes. The Ashirvad component is contained, for example, Avidyanam Antastimira Mihiradvipanagari Jadanam Chaitanya Stavakamakaranda Sudhijari Daridranam Chintamani Gunanika Janma Jalado. I think it is the 3rd shloka. Excuse me. I think the 3rd shloka. Avidyanam Antastimira Mihiradvyupagari. For the ignorant people, she is the one who eradicates the darkness within. Jadanam Chaitanya Stavaka Makaranda Srijari. For the people inert, almost duds, Chaitanya Stavaka Makaranda Srijari. She provokes the Chaitanya inside. अविद्यानामन्तस्तिमिरमिहिरद्वीपनगरी जडानां चैतन्यस्तबकमकरन्दश्रुतिजरी दरिद्राणां चिन्तामणिगुणनिका. For the poor people, she is the Chintamani. Daridranam Chintamani Gunanika. Janma Jalado Nivagranam Damstrak Varahas. So, the Daridranam Chintamani Gunanika. Janma Jalado Nimagranam. The people who are buried in the ocean of samsara, she takes you out just as the Varaha took out the worth from the ocean. Sorry. We are talking about Ashirvada component. Look at the beautiful sloka number 4. Todanyah panibhyam avevarado daiva sangadaham tumeka naivasi prakatita varabhityabhinayam Bayatratum datum phalamabhicha vancha samadikam sharanye lokanam tavahi charanavevanapunau. Other than you, every divinity has this Abhaya and Varada. Abhaya and Varada, that thing. Abhaya Varada. Todanyah panibhyo Abhaya Varado Daivatagana. You are the one to make a Naivasi Prakatita Varabhityapanya. You are not showing this because she is holding in one hand that sugar cane thing. So many other things she is holding on the pushpa, so many things. So, Bayat Ratum Datum Palamavicha Vancha Samadikam. From our fears. You are protecting us from fears. How? You are not giving the Abhaya, you are not giving the Varadahasta, but you are protecting. Vancha samadikam. Whatever I desire, even more than that. That is why it said Vanchitartha Pradayini there. So Vancha samadikam. Sharanye lokanam tavahi charanaveva nupuno. Your feet are enough. I bow at your feet. I prostrate at your feet. That's enough. You don't have to show the Abhaya Varadahasta. You are the only one like that. Todanyah panibhyam. Beautiful sloka. So that is this. Siddhanta, Vedanta. Girama Hurdevim. At the end, 97, sloka number 97. Saundarya Lahari. Girama Hurdevim. Druvina Grihinim Agamabido. Hare Patnim Padmam. Harasahacharim Madritanayam. Turiya Kopitvam Duradidama Nissim Mahima Mahamaya Vishwam Brahmayasi Parabrahma Majishi. People say that Saraswati is great. Others say that Hara Vishnupatni, Lakshmi is great. Some others say Hara Sahacharim Adritanayam, the daughter of the mountain, her Sahajarim, Shiva's companion, Parvati, she is great. You are the fourth. Other than these three, Lakshmi, Saraswati and Parvati, you are the fourth, Turiya, a beautiful, because she is the Parabrahma Mahishi. Very rare combination of words. Parabrahma Mahishi. Parabrahma is absolute. Where is the Mahishi there? She is not. It is personified here as if Parabrahma Mahishi. So you are the Mahamaya. You do the magic. You are doing the magic all over the world. Vishwam Brahmayasi. Turiya Kapi. Duravigama Nisima Mahima. Your glories are very difficult to be counted, immeasurable and unreachable. Turiya Kopitvam Duradhigama Nisima Mahima Mahamaya Vishwam Brahmayasi Parabrahma Mahishi. The Kanchi Mahaswami here has talked about Saundarya Lahari at length, and you should read his explanation of the shloka. I mean, I think probably he did one whole lecture on the shloka. You should read that. So that is the Siddhanta. The Parakram. So what is the Siddhanta? Siddhanta says there is only one. The three divinities, all other divinities are only manifestations of that one absolute. That one absolute is doing everything. Mahamaya Vishwam Brahmayase Parabrahma Magishi. So, Parakramam and glories. Hariswamaradhya Pranadajana Saubhajyajani. Vishnu is worshipping you and therefore he is able to sustain the world. Shloka number 5. Jagatsute dhata hariravati rudrakshapayate. The Brahma creates the Jagat by your order. Trayanam devanam triguna janitanam tavashive is brulatiyo. Just you are moving your eyebrows just like that, and things are done. Things are done. And finally the prayer component. Shutinam murdhano dalati tavayau shekarataya. In these shlokas, the prayer component is there. Tanotu kshemam nastava vadana saundarya lakari. Let this be the kshema for us. Shloka number 44. Shloka number 57 is very interesting. Drishadhragi yasya daradalita nilot palarucha daviyam samdinam snapaya kripaya mamapi shive. O goddess, mother, why don't you turn your glance? That glance is long-ranging glance. It has a long reach. Why does it not reach me? Snapaya kripaya mamapi shive. By your grace, why don't you shower on me? Kripaya, by compassion. Snapaya kripaya mamapi shive. You are not the loser with it. I am the gainer. You don't lose anything. You see? The moon shines cool, it showers its cool rays, whether it is a mansion or a forest. In both places, the same coolness, it showered. Like that, you can shower your grace on me, even though I am a very simple Dina. So, this is the prayer component. As in the case of Lalita Sahasranama, as I told you, there is no reference to the mention of Meenakshi of Madura. Though there are shlokas describing the eyes and eye glances of the goddess. But there is one thing. There is a shloka 49. Vishala Kalyani Sputaruchira Ayodhya Kobalayaihi. There are 8 cities which are mentioned, right? By a poetic artifice of metaphorical meanings, the divine glance of the goddess is compared to the 8 locations in the land of Bharat, and one of them being Madura of Tamil Nadu. So that can be taken as an implicit reference to Meenakshi of Madura. There is another shloka, shloka number 56. You see, fishes don't swim in the upper regions of the ocean. Instead, they always stay in deep waters. Acharya Shankara here imagines an interesting reason. They see Ambal's eyes which extend up to her ears. She is always rolling her eyes on all sides. Why? In order that not a single being in the universe misses her blessed glance of protection. So they now and then reach the extremities of the eye and appear as if they are touching the ears. Now the poetic fancy. The fishes think that is when the eyes are giving something secretive to the divine ears. Why do they think like that? They think defensively. Her eyes perhaps are telling tales about them, because the fishes are always worried that her eyes are competing with them as rivals in terms of fast movements. So naturally they are afraid. Devi might take it on them, and therefore they stay in deep water. This is shloka number 56. In the Meenakshi temple of Madurai, there is a tank, Putramarai Kulam, tank of the golden lotus. There are no fishes in the tank. The folklore is that they don't come there because they know they cannot compete with the eyes of the goddess Meenakshi. So the Acharya, in making a comparison of the goddess eyes with fishes in shloka number 56, and painting a picture for us of the fishes not wanting to show up before her, he has really hinted goddess Meenakshi in this shloka. So even though one may think that goddess Meenakshi is not mentioned, just as Vaktralakshmi Varivaga Chalan Meena Balochana was a single reference in Lalita Sahasranam to Madhura, so also here Madhura has been mentioned in that Vishala Kalyani shloka number 49, and in shloka 56 when he has this comparison of the fishes, the reason for the fishes not coming up in the upper portion of the water. So that takes care so far of Lalita Sahasranam and Saundarya Lahari. You can see that I have given you only a very small sample of the greatness of these two stotras. Now I am going to go to Lalita Trishati. Lalita Trishati is a compendium of 300 names, just as Lalita Sahasranam is a compendium of 1000 names for the mother goddess. So, but Trishati is considered to be more sacred and powerful. The names are not just names. Each one of them is a mantra. They have esoteric spiritual meaning. When recited, the very recitation, even without the understanding of the meaning, can give powerful effects, just because of the vibrations they can generate. See, when you recite it, vibrations, just as I said about Devi Mahatmyam. So every Sahasranama, of course, has this characteristic. But in the case of Lalita Trishati, it is expressly certified to be so. There is a 15-letter mantra for the goddess. I am not telling you now because it is not supposed to be publicly said like this. One has to get it from the Guru. That mantra is very famous, but it forms the greatest of secrets in the worship of the goddess, because it has to be earned from a Guru who has himself repeated it thousands and thousands of times with all dedication and reverence. The 300 names of Lalita Trishati occur in groups of 20. 15-letter mantra. The mantra has 15 letters. So these first 20 names begin with the first letter of the mantra. The second 20 names begin with the second letter of the mantra. So on. So one group for each letter of the 15-letter mantra. So on it goes. So the mantra is thus well known because we can guess the text of the mantra by putting together the first letters of the 15 groups of names. But we are not supposed to be in possession of the mantra until we have got it from a Guru, as I told you, who must have repeated it with reverence and concentration. Each name is dense with meanings, not only with the obvious meanings, but with profound meanings. Hereafter what I am going to tell you is going to be a little abstruse, but you have to repeatedly listen to it and get the meaning. So I am going to give you a few names out of 300, maybe 5 or 6, only 5 perhaps, and try to give the meaning as far as I understand. Don't think I am not an expert. Lakshanagamya, name number 72. Lakshana Agamya. Lakshana means definition. Agamya means not obtainable by definitions. What is the meaning? There are three kinds of definitions. Jagal Lakshana. What is Jagal Lakshana? Tea shop on the Ganges. How can a tea shop be on the Ganges? Obviously, we mean on the banks of the Ganges. So, the banks of the Ganges is understood. So, the Ganges is not to be taken as the river Ganges, Ganga. By context, it means only the bank of the Ganga. So, the river meaning of the word Ganga is discarded. Jagat. Jagat means discarded. So, part of the meaning is discarded in order to understand what you are saying. This is called Jagal Lakshana. This is an example of a Jagal Lakshana, which it specifies the object by discarding. This is one. The second kind of Lakshana is Ajagal Lakshana. White is coming first. Kya baat hai? White is coming. We are looking at a horse race. A white horse is coming first. So the onlookers, one man says to the other, white is coming first. So here, what is the meaning? The white horse is coming first. So the whiteness is not discarded. Ajagati. Jagati means discarded. Ajagati means not discarded. So the whiteness is not discarded in the derivation of the meaning. So this is a definition which does not discard. So definition which discards Jagal Lakshana, tea shop on the Ganges. The Ganges is discarded, the bank of the Ganges meaning. So here whiteness is not discarded. This is Ajagal Lakshana. Now come to the why all this grammar, because we have to understand the relationship between the individual soul and Brahman. Individual soul, Tvam, and the Brahman, Tat, Tvam, Asi. That's what the Mahavakya says. Tat, that, Tvam, you are that. In this case, the Jagat Lakshana will not work, Ajagat Lakshana will not work. Why? Because Jagat Lakshana will discard. This discarding technique will discard the spiritual essence of both. You and Tat, there is a spiritual essence in both. It will discard it. The non-discarding technique, Ajagal Lakshana, it will take the ignorance in you, Tvam, and the creative power in Tat. The Tat has a creative power. This you is ignorant. You cannot take everything. So Jagal Lakshana will not work, Ajagal Lakshana will not work. So the Pandits say there has to be a Jagad Ajagal Lakshana. Jagad Ajagal Lakshana. What is a Jagad Ajagal Lakshana? Jagat and Ajagal. Discarding and not discarding. What do you mean by this? Discarding the qualities present in both. I'm sorry. Not discarding the qualities present in both. Discarding the qualities which are not present even in one of them. So it discards and also not discards. So discard the facets which are not in both, and not discard the facets which are present in both. When we say, for example, this person is the same as the one I saw in the mental hospital 15 days ago. At the mental hospital, you saw him dilapidated with hair disheveled, all sorts of things. He might not even have a proper dress. So that was the mental hospital man. But you are able to recognize him now. This is the same person as the one I saw him in the mental hospital. So what is it? You are discarding that disheveled appearance in the mental hospital and the good appearance now outside, because it is not present in both. But you are not discarding the fact that there is a basically the man is the same. So like this, Tati Tvam Asi. From Tati we discard the creative aspect. From Tvam we discard the ignorance aspect. Tat Tvam Asi. But we take up the spiritual content of both, which is common. Therefore we say Tattvamasi. Same man, the one I saw in the mental hospital is the same now. There is a sameness, underlying sameness. That is what Tattvamasi. So what does this, all this discussion do? This discussion takes care of the discarding and non-discarding aspect. Discussion identifies thou and that, you and that. But even this definition does not describe what is the absolute truth. That is the same as this, but what is the absolute truth does not say. So you can, there are only three kinds of definitions: Jagal Lakshana, Ajagal Lakshana, Jagad Ajagal Lakshana. All the three definitions will not work for the description of the absolute. What is the absolute? Who is God? Who is the absolute? Tell me, show me. Nothing. It's not possible. She is therefore unobtainable by definitions. Lakshana Agamya. Beautiful. You see the Vedanta inbuilt into this single word, Lakshana Agamya. Om Shrim Hrim Lakshana Agamya Yai Namaha. That is how we do the Archana, Lalita Trishati. Now we will take a few names which deal with Hrim. Hrinkara Lakshana. Just now I said by any definition she is unobtainable. But Hrinkara gives the Lakshana. Indicative Lakshana. Tatastha Lakshana. What is Tatastha Lakshana? You go to a village and ask them, where is the river? They say, you see those trees there? That is the river. So the trees are on the bank of the river. So the river is not seen from here. But they say, go towards those trees. So Tatastha. Tata means bank. On the bank there are trees. The trees are shown. Indicative definition. Where is the moon? On the third day, fourth day, you want to see? Your son, 5-year-old son is asking. So what do you tell him? Oi, look at this tree. You see those two leaves? See between the leaves. You can see the moon. So the moon is hidden in the tree foliage. But when you see between the leaves, you see the moon. The moon is totally different from the leaves. Tatastha Lakshana. Indicative definition. That is not a final definition. Now Hrim. There are 4 letters in Hrim. Ha, Ra. Right? E and Ma. Makara. The Ha stands for Shiva as well as space. Space is uncontaminated or untouched by anything. That happens in space. Yata sarvagatam saukshmad akasham nopalipyate sarvatra avasthito dege tatatma nopalipyate. Gita. There is the Akasha, space. You are having a fireworks in the Akasha. What does it do? It does not do anything to the Akasha. It may do something to the atmosphere, the dust, the air. But it does not do anything to the Akasha. Space is there. Before, during and after. So, sarvatra sthito dehe tadatma lopi. Therefore, the Atma, which is there in everywhere, same thing. It is not affected by any of the things that are happening to the outside, to the body. So, Ha stands for the Absolute. Next letter is Ra. Ra, by a fiat of Sanskrit grammar, always indicates fiery aspect, fire. It causes an effect. So, Ha and Ra together signify the predicated consciousness absolute. Consciousness absolute has come like this. Universe. The E stands for sustenance, aspect of Vishnu. The Anuswara M, Ma indicates merging. So Hrim stands for creation, sustaining and dissolving aspects, for all of which together the source is the absolute consciousness. But the three aspects, however, singly or together, do not define the absolute. It only points, indicate, just as Tatastha Lakshana. They only indicate, point the direction to the absolute. It is not the ever valid definition. So Hrim syllable is the Tatastha Lakshana for the absolute. Hrinkara Lakshana. Remember, Om is the transcendental absolute. It also represents the transcendental absolute. Transcendental absolute in the Nirguna aspect, attributeless aspect. Hrim represents the same absolute in the attributed aspect, Parashakti. So Om Nirguna, Hrim Saguna. It's another interesting thing. Hrim includes the syllable Eem. It is called the Pranava of the Mother Goddess, Ambal. Eem. Om is the Pranava of the Absolute. Eem is the Pranava of the attributed Absolute, Saguna Brahman. So it is called Shakti Pranava. It signifies the personified Almighty. It is to the Shakti Pranava one can surrender. Right? Tam Padmini Mim Sharanamaham Prapadye Shri Suktam Chandram Prabhasam Yashasa Jwalantim Shriyam Loke Deva Jushta Mudaram Tam Padmini Mim Sharanamaham Prapadye. Loke, in the world, Chandram, moon like coolness, Prabhasam, always shining, Yashasa Jwalantim, by itself, by its own majesty, it is shining. Devajushtam, respected and propitiated by all the divines. Udaram, compassion, great compassion, or description of Mother Goddess. Padminim, she is bearing the lotus. Eem, that Bija Akshara, which represents the attributed absolute, Saguna Brahman. Attributed absolute means Saguna Brahman, Brahman with qualities. Tam, that Shriyam, that Lakshmi, Aham Sharanam Prapadye, I am surrendering. I cannot surrender to Om. Om is Nirguna Brahman. Nirguna Brahman will not allow any action. There is no question of action to Brahman or of Brahman or by Brahman or anything. So, but Eem Sharanam. So, this is that is why Hrim is great. Ha, Ra, Eem. In the Taittiriya Aranyaka of Krishna Yajurveda, there is what is called the Surya Namaskara Prashna, one whole chapter. It brings the idea that Vedas are our best friend. It says, is there a friend who mistrusts a friend from whom one has derived any good? Konu margya amichitaham sakha sakayam bravit jahako asmadishate yastityaja sakhividagam sakhayam न तस्य वाच्यपि भागो asti. So, who is there? A friend is doing good to you. You cannot mistrust him. Whoever discards such a good friend in mistrust and doubt, for him there is no right to read and hear the Vedas anymore. Konu marja amititaha, the one who has not done anything wrong to you, kaha saka sakayam jagaha. Which friend will banish, will discard a friend saying that he will desert me, he will not do good to me? Whoever friend discards such a friend, yes, saki vidagam sakayam tityaja tasya vachyapi bhagaha nasti. For him, in the Vedas, there is no right. Yadigam shrinothyalakagam shrinoti. Even if he hears the Vedas, im shrinoti, im Vedas, alakagam shrinoti, he listens in vain. Beautiful passage in Surya Namaskara Prashna. We will go to some more names. Hrim Garbha, 92. Syllable Hrim stands for the three divine forms, Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. These are the first three Saguna expressions of the Absolute. They have energies, each one, Vama, Jeshta and Raudri. The Absolute Mother Goddess has, as it were, all these six in her womb. That is why she is Hrim Garbha. Mamayonir Mahat Brahma Tasmin Garbham Dadamyagam Sambhavas Sarvabhutanam Tato Bhavati Bharata. Gita, 14th chapter. My womb is the great Brahman. That I impregnate. Then the birth of all the beings take place. Mamayonir Mahat Brahma Tasmin Garbham Dadamyagam Sambhavas Sarvabhutanam. All the beings rise or produced by that way. So Hrim Garbha, Hrinkara Vedya. She is known by the syllable Hrim. She is attributeless. She cannot be known by any other method because she cannot be the object of something. But through the Hrim syllable, when you learnt it from the Guru in the formal manner, Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana method, one gets into the bliss of the infinite, which is exactly what she is. So what is indirect now becomes direct. So Hrinkara Vedya. Mameva ye prapadyante mayametam tarantite. Gita again. Hrinkara Chintya. Syllable Hrim is analogous to the syllable Om. So it is a means of meditation of Brahman. In both these syllables, the Para form, the absolute form, and the attributed Apara form, Para, Apara. Para is absolute, Apara is non-absolute. So one is attributeless, another is attributed. Both forms are in these two syllables. There is actually an esoteric mystery. Only Yoga Shastra, philosophy of yoga, people, practitioners, they describe this. Hrim contains both the facets of Brahman. Naturally, it is fit to meditate. Hrinkara Parasaukhyada. She gives happiness and satisfaction to those who are intent on the meditation or recitation of Hrim. Another meaning is Hrinkara Parasaukhyada. She gives a holistic para happiness, absolute happiness, as against the individual happiness in the material world, which Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva gives. So it is the consummated integral happiness. Yatra nanyat pashyati, nanyat shnoti, nanyat vijanati, sabhuma, Chandogya Upanishad. Where one does not see anything, where one does not hear anything, where one does not cognize anything, that is infinite. Otherwise, it is only finite. I think we should be ending this 3-part series now by a very interesting, very profound prayer from Saundarya-Lahari. Japo jalpaha shilpam sakalamapi mudra virachana gati pradakshinyam ashanadhyahujuvidhi pranama sammeshaham sukam akhilamapyatmarpanadrisha saparjyaparjyayagam tava bhavatu yanme vilasitam. Whatever actions you do, everything must be in the dedication to the goddess. This is the sum and substance of the shloka. Worship, japa, showing mudras by the fingers of the hand, circumambulation, prostration, offering in the fire with the chanting of mudras, all these are usually done in honor of the goddess. But all these have to be done, of course. But the matter should not end there. Doing all this for a portion of a time and forgetting that later and getting immersed in the material world is not right. All the time, everything should become a worship. You are walking, you are jogging, you are sleeping, you are eating, you are enjoying. You are wasting time. All this should be in her dedication. How is this possible? Don't I have to eat? Don't I have to sleep? Don't I have to mix with people? Don't I have to go to my office? These questions might arise. But the jnanis, who also do all the outside work in the world, how are they working? They are in the world but not of the world. We should be like those jnanis. So we have to start with this kind of attitude. Anything that happens is her wish. Anything that we are doing is for her glory, for her edification. The egoistic thought, I am planning this, I am doing this, it is for me, this should go slowly, slowly. Of course, gradually it has to go. We have to transfer all the responsibilities to the Divine Mother. Then the impact of the mind will slowly disappear. Then from the bottom of our heart there will be peace. It is to reach that state, the shloka is there. So one has to repeat the shloka and get immersed in the meaning and follow it. Japo jalpaha shilpam sakalamapi mudra virachana gati pradakshanyam. So when you are moving about, it is a pradakshina of the goddess. Ashanadhyahujividihi. Whatever we eat, it is the homa, the jataragni, agni homa to her. Pranama samveshagam. We are sleeping, so let it be a namaskar to her. Sukam akilamapyatmarpana drisha. All the sukha, happiness or unhappiness that you are enjoying, saparjya parjaya, it is hers. Tava bhavatu me. Oh Mother Goddess, please grant me this. This is a beautiful prayer that we should be. That is why the Lord says in the Gita, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara yudhyache. All the time. Just in the previous shloka he said, those who remember me at the last moment will reach me. And then he says, therefore, you have to do this remembering all the time. Sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara yudhyache. Right? So with this, I should thank you all for giving me this opportunity to talk about Mother Goddess in the kind of elaboration which I was capable of. Kindly pardon me if there are errors or transgressions anywhere. Swasti prajabhyat paripalayantam nyayena margena mahim mahishaah gobrahmanebhyah shubhamastu nityam lokah samastas sukhino bhavantu. Om Tat Sat.